You are listening to The Dr. Haley Show, the podcast dedicated to helping you optimize your health. Each episode, there will be an interview or a message to help you discover better health. We will be featuring health radicals on the show to bring new ideas to the table, as well as doubling down on key fundamentals to support you living your best life. Your host is no other than the founder of Haley Nutrition, Dr. Michael Haley.
I'm Dr. Michael Haley. This is the Dr. Haley Show podcast, and in this episode, this is a solo episode. I'm going to be answering some of the common questions I get here at Haley Nutrition, aka Stockton Aloe number 1, doing business as Haley Nutrition at haleynutrition.com. Or you can always use the old internet address, aloe1, A-L-O-E, the number 1.com, will forward to Haley Nutrition. People wonder if we're the same company that Rodney Stockton had started. Actually, we're the same brand of aloe vera. We essentially took his process, improved it a little bit, made it better, and named it after him for his legacy's sake. But it is now carried, Stockton Aloe number 1, the brand is now carried at Haley Nutrition. We've kept it alive. And although right now there's no aloe vera, if you go to the website, the cart, the store is empty. We're out of aloe vera. And that brings us to our first big common question. Why are you out of aloe, and when will you have it again? Are you going out of business? We're not going out of business. We're as strong as we've ever been, and even stronger than ever before. However, since 1996, Rodney Stockton had been harvesting aloe vera in the Dominican Republic to produce his product after the hurricanes had wiped away Homestead. Hurricane Andrew blew through in 1996. Devastation to Homestead, Florida, including the aloe fields. Something had to be done, and he actually took plants from Florida to the farmers in the Dominican Republic, convinced them that they had to grow this particular species, the Barbadensis Miller species, the Stockton variety specifically, which Rodney Stockton affectionately called the Barbadensis Miller Stockton species. So they were indeed growing that there in the Dominican Republic, and quite frankly, it's growing in a lot of farms now. Not everyone has that specific variety, but you are going to find it most places that you look where aloe vera is growing. I noticed a lot of the neighbors in South Florida are growing from that same variety. I can see all of the identifying characteristics that make the plant so unique. The color is very specific, including the color of the flowers that spring up. The leaves are a certain width and thickness, and although that can change depending on how you grow it and how much sunlight it's getting, if you grow them indoors, the plant will often grow long and skinny as it's kind of reaching for sunlight, trying to find the sun. So that will change the way they grow, and also depending on how many other babies and plants you let spring up around the mother plant that just suck the nutrients from it. So the leaves will change in shape and size a little bit depending on how you're growing it, but others grow very, very differently. Also, you'll notice in this particular species the spotting on them, which is more prevalent in the younger, less mature plants. In other varieties, you'll see no spots in the babies, but you'll see spots when they're mature. But in this particular variety, you'll see spots when they're babies, but no spots when they're mature. So there's definitely some very unique identifying features of this particular variety, which Rodney Stockton had determined to be the most nutritious. And something else that had been verified by research is he would never harvest plants younger than 3 to 5 years old And it had been shown that there is much more acemannan in plants after 3 years old. As they get more mature, the nutrition, the beneficial nutrients of the aloe vera plant increase. So you don't want to be harvesting from those baby plants, which quite frankly, the leaves are smaller and you don't get much gel out anyway. So why would you want to harvest from an immature plant unless that was all you had? Better some aloe than no aloe, right? So those are some of the unique things about the aloe vera. And we had been growing it in the Dominican Republic, but all good things end eventually, it seems. And in this case, our farmer that had been growing and producing for us, we would certainly oversee the process, and we designed the process that they used and provided equipment for the process. But that came to an end. And, I guess it was time to retire, and maybe that land is better suited for growing other things in the Dominican Republic. Or for whatever reason, they are closing shop and not producing aloe vera anymore. I'm guessing that they might lease the fields out, or possibly someone will grow a different plant. Maybe tobacco, which is quite popular in the Dominican Republic. Isn't that horrible to think? We were producing on these fields probably the most beneficial plant there is to mankind, aloe vera, and now it might be taken over by tobacco. However, no need to despair. We do have arrangements. We have been making plans to grow and produce and harvest. Actually, they've been growing this same plant in a farm in Guatemala that we'll be producing our product at. We're making the arrangements. It's been a long process getting the equipment out of Dominican Republic and shipped to another country, but that is in the works, and we'll get it all installed and up and running, and then we'll have the farmer there that does produce aloe for other brands as well, produce for us using our process, our technique, unfiltered, raw, 100% pure, inner fillet only. Frozen. Why frozen? Well, that brings us to the next common question. See, the first big question was, when are you going to have aloe vera again? Right now it's the end of January, and we hope to have aloe sometime before the end of February or maybe early March. That's our guesstimate. But the next common question is, what do I do in the meantime? Is there another brand that you recommend? And I was talking to someone yesterday, and they were talking about the brand that they had tried, which, quite frankly, it's a popular brand. A lot of people know it, and if you went to the store, you'd probably see it on the shelves. But it was the probably most trustworthy brand that I would recommend after ours. And before, saying this is what I would recommend, they said, well, this is what I got, and it happened to be the same brand, and they weren't happy with it. Primarily because it was inner leaf, but it wasn't thick. They said it is not thick. Well, the same brand does make one that is thick, but that's because they add a thickening agent to it. So what's really going on? Why is ours so different, and why can't we recommend a true comparable aloe vera to drink? Because there isn't one. One of the unique benefits of ours is the mucopolysaccharides, which is present in all aloe vera at some point in time, but as it sits, it breaks down. A mucopolysaccharide is like a very complex carbohydrate or sugar molecules joined together, and enzymes will break those down. An enzyme, the best demonstration I've ever had of enzymes, Dr. Andrea Hazim, if you're listening, shout out to you. Dr. Andrea Hazim held a nutrition class at a chiropractic office probably 25 years ago. And she made a bowl of oatmeal. And in that bowl of oatmeal, she opened up some fruit and vegetable capsules that had digestive enzymes in them, and she sprinkled it on the oatmeal. And we watched the oatmeal liquefy in the bowl over probably the next 5 minutes or so. Because fruits and vegetables have enzymes in them, as does aloe vera. Aloe vera is very enzyme rich, has 8 different enzymes in it. And the enzymes will go to work digesting things. And some enzymes are more specific to carbohydrates, some to fats, and some to proteins. Well, aloe vera has enzymes that will break down itself, break down the mucopolysaccharides into simple sugars. Now, what? Did you just say that aloe vera is made up of sugar? I did, but it's not any sugar. It's not, glucose or fructose or lactose or galactose or any of those other oses that are very common in our daily food supply. It's a unique one, mannose. And interestingly about mannose, they had given it to rats that were in ketosis sometime in 1935 or so, and they kind of stayed in ketosis. Well, normally if you give sugar to someone that's in ketosis or someone that's in a fat-burning mode, it takes them right out of it. But not with mannose. In fact, diabetics take it because it lowers their blood sugar levels, not raises it like other sugars do. So it's very, very unique. It is different. And when it's all joined together in that very complex mucopolysaccharide, it's sort of time released. You can consume it and it'll break down gradually. Or if you had bottled it and put it on a store shelf, the enzymes are in there, will go to work breaking it down into the simple sugars, essentially destroying the time release effect that it might have, that it would otherwise have if it was in the form of the mucopolysaccharides. And I do not know other brands out there that when you shake it, it sounds like ours, that thick, goopy sounding, without having thickeners added to it. So how do we do it? The expensive way. We keep it frozen. When it is frozen, everything slows down. Microbiology can't multiply as fast. In fact, so slowly that we kind of consider it not to even happen. Enzymes break down things a lot slower, so much so that it's almost as if it doesn't happen. There's not much difference between a bottle that was put in the freezer a week ago and one that was put in there a year ago. There is a difference, but it's not that significant. Now, if it was not frozen and we just put it on a store shelf, the enzymes are going crazy, working like gangbusters, and within probably a couple weeks, your thick gel now splashes like water. That's why we tell people, when you take it out of the freezer, use it in 7 to 10 days. That and also microbes will grow. So you want to use it up. And if you're not going to, just put it in smaller containers and refreeze them to keep it in that more fresh state where the mucopolysaccharides are more intact and the microbiology counts are low. Are you saying there's microbiology in raw aloe vera? I'm saying there's microbiology, live living creatures, not only in our aloe, but, well, if you've ever shopped in the produce section and bought apples or potatoes or oranges or anything, salad, there's microbiology in it, which we would consider to be not only insignificant, but in many cases beneficial. Bad microbiology isn't beneficial. Well, even that can be, actually, as it trains your immune system, as your immune system's all ready to fight it. But in large amounts, it wouldn't be beneficial. It would be potentially dangerous if your immune system couldn't handle it. So yes, there's microbiology in raw foods, even if they're frozen. Freezing it doesn't necessarily kill, although some might not withstand the freezing. But for the most part, it just slows down their growth tremendously. So ours is a very, very different product by the mere fact that it's kept frozen to keep everything intact. So I can't with a good conscience recommend another brand that doesn't freeze it and keep it in its full natural form. I couldn't recommend it with a good conscience as a comparable product. With that said, I've often said aloe vera is kind of like intimacy. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. So it doesn't mean you won't have benefits from the other brands. It's just not the same.
You enjoying the show thus far? One of the many health secrets that we have covered on the show is all around aloe vera, specifically drinking raw aloe vera. Our aloe vera has helped our customers effectively heal their gut, increase their intestine health, lower inflammation in the body, eliminate and/or decrease acid reflux, have glowing skin and hair, and so much more. Now, as a frequent member of our audience, you will be exposed to exclusive specials and coupon codes for the awesome products manufactured by Haley Nutrition. That's right, for simply being awesome and tuning in, you can get a mini discount to help you optimize and better your health. To see how we can help and support you on your health journey, tune into the episodes and listen for coupon codes that you can use at www.haleynutrition.com before you make your orders of raw aloe vera. Once again, it's www.haleynutrition.com. Now, back to the show.
This is the Dr. Haley Show podcast, and today we're doing questions. Here's another common question that I get, and this is a biggie. This one's a doozy. Does aloe vera cure cancer? Aloe vera does not cure cancer. There is no cure for cancer, with one little exception that I'll cover in a minute. Doctors do not cure cancer. Chemotherapy does not cure cancer. Radiation does not cure cancer. Fruits and vegetables don't cure cancer. There are things that people can do that will help to cure cancer, but the only cure is within you. Everyone is fighting cancer every day. I'm fighting cancer right now. My body has cancer cells in it. Your body has cancer cells in it. It's always had cancer cells in it. Cancers are cells that grow, multiply, make tumors, and develop because your immune system isn't identifying them and getting rid of them. Your immune system is supposed to recognize cells that aren't normal and get rid of them. But if these cells aren't recognized, your immune system doesn't see them and says, hey, that Mike looks like more of you, Mike, so I'm going to leave it there because it looks like a good cell of you, Mike. Let me leave that alone. It misses the defect. And as that cell continues to multiply and divide and your immune system doesn't recognize the defect, eventually at some point in time, we might call it cancer. But the reality is, all of us are fighting cancers every day. And we're either living a lifestyle that supports our immune system and helps it accomplish that, or we're not. We're all doing things that we could do better. But if we're doing so many things that are harmful to us and creating cancer cells at a rate we can't keep up with, and at the same time we're beating our immune system down with sugar and not enough sleep, not enough exercise, bad mental thoughts, as we're filling our lives with these negative thoughts and negative actions, negative choices, it will affect our immune system and decrease our ability to recognize and destroy cancer cells. As we're living a life that is full of good nutrition, anti-cancer nutrients, things that support our immune system, and we're getting fresh air and sunlight and making vitamin D, and all your nutrients are met, all your nutrient demands are met. You're getting a lot of phytochemicals. That kind of opens up a whole nother debate. Phytochemicals, you mean we need plant chemicals? Some people say you can only eat animal foods and be fine. How are you going to get the plant chemicals? Well, if you're only eating animal foods, you better eat the animals that ate a lot of the plant foods. The same nutrient, you can get the same nutrient from fruits and vegetables that you can get from animals. In one case, they're called phytonutrients, and in another case, it might be called a zoonutrient from the animal kingdom. However, the nutrient would be the exact same in many cases. So, yes, you can get that's why people are drinking grass-fed milk, as an example. And grass-fed milk will have more of a yellow tint to it, as you see a lot of the phytonutrients from the grass being revealed in the dairy. And in the same way, those nutrients can be absorbed into the tissues and become part of the meat. When you see a pink flamingo, what do you think makes them pink? Phytochemicals from the things they eat. What makes a salmon orange? Probably things like lutein and zeaxanthin from the algae, from the things that the fish are eating. Or, in some cases, they're not eating the algae, they're eating the fish that ate the algae. And it just works its way through the food chain. So you can get your plant nutrients from animal foods. Now, if you're eating animal foods that are not fed the normal diet, sometimes cows are fed in confined animal feed operations, CAFOs, and they have their head sticking through a part of the fence eating out a trough that's full of grain, and that's what they're fed. That's what they have access to. So they eat it, but that's not what they should be eating. They should be out in the fields eating grass. So they're missing a lot of those phytochemicals that they would have otherwise gotten from grazing the pastures. So when it comes to animal foods, you've heard it well said, you are what you eat. But when it comes to animal foods, if you are what you eat and they are what they ate, then you are what they ate. And if they ate corn, you're essentially eating the inflammatory corn in the form of meat or dairy or chicken or eggs. But when they're pastured and grazing and eating the right foods, then you're getting a more anti-inflammatory, healthy animal food. So as you're getting good nutrition, you're supporting your immune system to fight cancers by giving it the things it needs. What's so special about aloe vera, though? Because I've heard people really talk about this one as being anti-cancer. And you're saying it doesn't cure cancer. What does it do? What if it did kill cancer cells and you had cancer? Would you just say, okay, well then I'm just going to drink aloe and I'll be fine? Well, now you really didn't come up with a good strategy for fighting cancer. What you've done is you've taken aloe vera and you turned it into a drug. You're using it no different than medicine. I'm taking this to kill the cancer. Well, why'd you get cancer? Was it because of a lack of aloe vera? It's kind of like taking chemotherapy to kill your cancer and not doing anything else. Did you get cancer because your body lacked chemotherapy? I'm going to get radiation to kill the cancer. Is that why you got cancer? Because you didn't have enough radiation? It doesn't make sense. You've taken a medical approach, which I'm not saying medicine is bad, but you can't use medicine and not make changes and expect to have good results. I'll say that again, maybe a little bit differently. If you're using medicine to get a specific result because you have a certain condition, and even if you get that result, you haven't really done anything good for yourself because it will come back if you haven't removed the cause. So killing the cancer cells, great, but why did the cancer cells grow in the first place? Once I stop killing the cancer cells, what's going to happen? It's going to come back. I can't guarantee that 100% of the time, but we've seen people do chemotherapy and then they are given a bill of health and told them they're cancer free, and then it comes back. Why does it come back? Because they've never dealt with the cause. What if you can't figure out the cause? Well, then you better change a lot of things and hope that the cause was in there somewhere. Hope that you removed the cause because you've changed enough things. So if you're taking aloe vera to fight cancer and help support, well, great. There's some real good reasons why you would want to do that. But if that's the only change you're making, it is not a good strategy. If you want to live, it's not a good strategy. Because you haven't changed anything else. Unless drinking aloe vera somehow replaced the cause. Maybe you were drinking toxic water and you're not drinking that anymore because you're drinking aloe instead. Okay? But chances are, simply adding aloe to your diet is not going to eliminate the cause. So you want to change as many things as possible, probably all kinds of things in your diet, and make sure you're eating clean. But, you know, your nutrition is also a lot of other things. Your nutrition is how you think. When you think positive thoughts, you're making positive chemistry in your body. And that chemistry really is your nutrition. I thought nutrition is what you eat. No, that's your diet. What your body does with it is really your nutrition. And your food that you eat will have nutrition in it, but it's meaningless if your body doesn't do the right things with it. And what if you're not getting enough sleep? When you sleep, you're changing your nutrition. Your chemistry, your body chemistry changes. That's why you need sleep, to make those changes so you can be refreshed. So as you're sleeping, you're affecting your chemistry. You're affecting your nutrition. That's why people need good, deep, solid sleep. What about exercise? Well, exercise also changes your chemistry and affects stress and all kinds of things. So when you exercise, you can actually improve your nutrition. And there's different kinds of exercise. You know, there's stretching exercises, which is great and might help your nervous system work better as you get rid of a lot of the tension, especially around your spine where the nerves exit going out to your whole body. That's why I love exercises like cat-cow exercises, upward, downward dog, and just really getting the spine flowing. Dancing lion. You can look those up on YouTube if you don't know what I'm talking about. Some yoga postures are really great for getting the spine moving. So there's stretching, but there's also strength training. And when you strength train, that might affect hormones more, like growth hormone. And there's also endurance training, which is great for your cardiovascular system. And if you need to lose weight, you might do not quite as heavy duty as endurance training, maybe back off a little bit and do a fat burning exercise where you're just increasing your metabolism so that you can burn more fat and get to your ideal weight. So when you look at exercise, there's so many things to consider, and where are you lacking in your exercise program? You might be lacking in balance and coordination, and you might want to do exercises that improve agility. It's all important, but you want to address these areas of your life, not just take a magic bullet. I'm going to have aloe vera and I should be fine, and that's going to cure my cancer. There is no cure for cancer. You need to strengthen your immune system and eliminate the cause. So where does aloe vera fit in to this whole immune system benefit? I'll be right back. I hope you're enjoying this podcast. This month, use the coupon code 7FEB for February. That's the number 7, FEB, for 7% off your entire purchase at HaleyNutrition.com, now through the end of February 2025. You can save more by getting bundles. As an example, when you get the 3-canister bundle of iogreens, vegetable, and fruit powder, you save $11 per canister. But you can save even more by using this coupon. And if you find items or bundles on sale, take an additional 7% off the on-sale items as well. We must be crazy. Losing our marbles here at Haley Nutrition. Practically giving things away if you combine the discounted bundles that are on sale and you use the coupon. Have at it. Now, back to the podcast. I'm back. And today we're talking about aloe vera, among other things. We're also talking about cancer, fighting cancer, and things you might want to consider when it comes to getting well. But the question is, what's so special about aloe vera when it comes to fighting cancer? Hopefully by now you realize that it's not about taking aloe to cure cancer. It's about making changes that will benefit you and benefit your immune system. With that said, there are some unique properties in aloe vera that will help support your immune system. And we're going to talk a little science here. I might get a little geeky, but let me start with not so geeky stuff. Let's start with more logic, and then we'll move into more of the science department. Logically, we know that a lot of our immune system is in our gut. And we need a good, healthy microbiome to support our immune system. Aloe vera is one of those things where you put it on your skin and it heals faster. There's been studies showing that when you have burns, like sunburn, you put aloe on it and it heals faster. Your gut is similar to your skin. It's kind of like you're a squish bag with skin on the outside, and then imagine one of those squish bags that you put on your finger and you roll it up and down. Well, where your finger is, that would be like inside your gut. Now, your body won't roll up and down like a squish bag because it has bones in it to give it support. But essentially, that digestive tube from your mouth to your anus with all the intestines and stomach and things in between, that's kind of like your skin folded on the inside. And it's a very similar tissue. You know that you can actually eat and drink through your skin. Maybe not as efficiently, But doctors will even give drugs through your skin. They'll give you patches, knowing that you absorb things through your skin, just like you do through your intestines. You absorb things you eat. So your skin is a very similar organ, and that particular tissue absorbs and excretes to get rid of waste, like your gut. So just like you can put aloe on your skin and heal things faster, you can also consume it and heal things faster. Now, it doesn't mean that it's like the direct contact that's making the difference, because when you drink aloe, a lot of it's going to be absorbed and won't necessarily make it to the rear end. So how do you coat and heal the rear end? Well, if it's being absorbed and carried through your bloodstream to the different tissues in your body, then it should really go everywhere, working from the inside out. So it doesn't necessarily matter if you rub it on the area that's affected like you would on your skin if it was sunburned. So aloe vera, we know, does heal your skin, and we know that when you consume it, it's helping heal your gut. It's supporting healing to your gut, where your immune system is. And if we can make your gut work more like it's supposed to and calm down your gut, your inflammatory bowels, then maybe your immune system will be happier and stronger. Some other ways that it might work. Earlier I mentioned that it could lower blood sugar levels and that rats would stay in ketosis. Well, if your sugar levels are high, then that's like a feeding frenzy for your cancer. Cancer loves sugar. And theoretically, again, we're not talking science yet, we're talking theory, which would be neat to prove by science. Could be done someday. It might be. But theoretically, if we're lowering our blood sugar levels, we could be starving cancer cells. We're going to come back to that thought in a minute or two or five. Starving cancer cells, what a neat concept. Well, there's a way to do that. So theoretically, if we're lowering our sugar levels, we're kind of making less food available to the cancer cells. So that would be certainly beneficial in fighting cancer. One reason, one way to do it. Again, don't take aloe just to do that and not change anything else in your life. Well, what else? Aloe vera has a nutrient called acemannan. Acemannan is probably the most beneficial nutrient in aloe vera. And when it's broken down, one of those nutrients, one of those molecules in the acemannan is mannose, the sugar molecule mannose, which is a unique sugar molecule that does not raise your blood sugar levels. But acemannan has been shown to increase things like tumor necrosis factor. What's tumor necrosis factor? The name says a lot. Tumor, or like cancer, tumor is like a cancer. Necrosis means death to factor. So it's like a factor that causes death to cancer, sort of. Really, it's like a chemical mediator that helps your immune system to identify the cancer cells so that your immune system will recognize the cells it's supposed to get rid of. So as we increase that factor in our body, it should better know which cells to deal with. Also, you have these interferons and interleukins in our body that also raise in the presence of acemannan. Sounds like, wow, this is stimulating our immune system. Sounds good. Sounds beneficial. Well, there's more to it than that. There has actually been research done that I believe it was funded by the pharmaceutical industry. And why not? They're the ones that can afford this. I personally can't afford it and couldn't justify it if I could. Why would I spend all my income to do research on something that I could never recover, right? That's the problem with nutrition. That's why we don't see science being done on food because it can't be patented, so we can never recover our expenses in it. Everyone else would benefit and sell more of their stuff, and you'd just be still just another brand of the same product. That's why we never see it in food. We never see that much research being done in the area of real food. There was some good research done, though, with aloe vera, both privately and by the pharmaceutical industry. In one study, 240 stage 4 cancer patients were given chemotherapy. And I'll have to be fact-checked on this. I think it was 1 ounce of aloe per day given to 119 of the people in this study. The other 121 just got their chemotherapy. And then they were put into different groups based on how they responded, with the best group, the one you hope to be in, being the complete result group. And the group that only got the chemotherapy had 3 people in the complete result group. The smaller group, by 2 people, that got 1 ounce of aloe a day with their chemotherapy, had 10 people in the complete result group. So less people in that group, but more people in the best category, having the best results. That is very statistically significant. Well, how could that possibly have happened? And what I ask even more so is, well, what if instead of 1 ounce per day, they had 2 ounces or 10 ounces a day? Heck, some of our customers are drinking 24 ounces, 3 cups of aloe per day. What if we gave the 119 24 ounces of aloe? What results then? I don't know. Would they be better? I don't know. I suspect so, especially when you consider the mechanisms of aloe and the proposed mechanisms, not only the increasing the tumor necrosis factor, interferons, and interleukins, but that sugar molecule, mannose. One understanding is that cancer cells love sugar. We know that. They love sugar. And although mannose is not glucose, it might look similar to glucose. So the cancer cell would say, hey, that fits in my mouth. I'm going to eat it or attach to it and try to use it for energy. And when it attaches to the mannose molecule, it takes up that binding site. So glucose can't attach to that binding site, but it cannot use the mannose for energy. Or if it does, or to what extent it does, I don't know. But we know it's certainly not at the level of glucose consumption or metabolism. And the conclusion in the study was the mannose will starve the cancer cell while the chemotherapy kills it. So it looks at the cancer being weakened in the presence of mannose, which is the sugar molecule that is found in aloe vera. Again, just another mechanism that aloe vera can benefit someone that is fighting cancer by supporting their immune system to work more like it's supposed to, and by binding up as many of those sugar sites as possible on the cancer cells. Now, what if none of that was true? What if aloe vera was just another food that was super rich in enzymes and minerals and vitamins and phytochemicals, and it was just really good nutrition? Well, that could be reason enough, right? But we actually know that it has a lot more benefits. Is it a cure for cancer? No. But if I had cancer, would I consume it? Well, I don't have cancer other than the cells that I'm fighting every day. They've never accumulated to the point of being called cancer, or not that I know of anyway. I've never been diagnosed. I've never been looked to see if they're accumulating anywhere. But I drink it every day anyway because I want to support my immune system. And I want to be healthy and younger. There's other scientific reasons about, supporting stem cell release and helping your body replace other cells, damaged cells, faster. So some very, very cool things when it comes to aloe vera. And I think we should do this again. It's a fun topic for me. I can talk about aloe vera all day long, and there's way too many things that I left out today. But I have kept your attention probably almost an hour at this point. So if you have questions and you're finding this on YouTube, or you're on the blog page or somewhere where you can leave a comment and you have other questions, go ahead and leave them there. Or go to HaleyNutrition.com and complete the contact form. Ask your questions there. Anything that's medical will get forwarded to me, and I'll respond directly, or anything that's very techie related to aloe vera, or just ask for Dr. Michael Haley. Say, can you send this to Dr. Haley? I have a question for him. Yeah, I'll get back to you. I'll respond. I'll answer. Make sure you like and subscribe the video or the podcast wherever you are. We love reviews. If you're listening on iTunes especially, and you got this far, well, you must like it. So why not give me 5 stars? Helps other people find this information. God bless you, and thank you for tuning in.
I hope you enjoyed that episode today on The Dr. Haley Show. Make sure to hit subscribe on whichever platform you are listening to this. If this episode made you think of someone, go ahead, take a screenshot, and share this exact episode with them. You can catch the show notes for this episode on www.drhaley.com. If you want to geek out with Dr. Michael Haley on other radical health topics, be sure to check out his YouTube channel, where he posts exclusive video content. All the details are at www.drhaley.com, and we can't wait to hang out with you on the next episode.